Command and Conquer fans! Ooh, wow, there's my voice. This is Captain Gerg, who I'm currently serving as your discussion moderator, but used to be a senior gamecaster / commentator. And I actually have a request from a fellow staff member to do one of his games. I forget exactly who it's against, but he says it's a really good one. And so I'm quite excited. I haven't done a Kane's Wrath game in quite a while. And patch 1.03 is out, so that is awesome news. Even though it's not official, it still has put Kane's Wrath at the very top of GameReplays.org, exactly where it belongs. And so we're going to hop into this game. I am just so happy today. It's a good day. If any of you haven't gotten the chance to play the 1.03, I would definitely recommend it. It switches economy back to kind of the original TW, the Tiberium War style, actually, which is quite cool, in my opinion. I enjoy it. But there's still some balancing and fixing to be done, but that will come with time, I am sure, and I'm going at like 8 frames per second. Why? I don't know. Okay, well, let's try this, shall we? There we go, now Fraps wants to cooperate. That's great. So, today we have Argent Force, playing as Vanilla GDI in the bottom, on Human Cision and Xlava, our very own, I think he's Senior Strategy, Strategy Specialist, again. Either way, we are going to be seeing, I'm very excited for this game. Before I go too far into it, though, because Decision in the first 5 minutes of every game on Decision is pretty much the same. I'm sorry, are they both Vanilla GDI? They are. They're both vanilla. Alright, this will also be a fun game, but very vanilla match. However, a couple things that have been striking me as of late, just thinking and going through. So first of all, there's 2 ways that I can do one of these video casts. I can either do it as commentary, where I tell you exactly what's going on and commentate the battles, and it's all fun and it's glorious. Or I can actually do analysis, which is not as much fun for me, actually, to be completely honest, because it actually requires some thinking and some strategizing. But for you guys, it's way more beneficial. I've been playing Kane's Wrath for since it came out, so a long time. I'm a very average player, but that doesn't mean that I don't know a lot about the game. So I can easily harp on people, but I can't necessarily do it myself. Which is just mostly mechanics and the fact that I don't have as much spare time to game as I'd like. But either way, that's the story there. So yeah, analysis versus very easy commentating games, which I love doing commentation, and I'll still do it, but analysis will be kind of the primary thing I'll do for this game. Also, for you guys, so there's those 2 types for me, and you guys on the listening end, not when you're watching videocasts like this, but when you guys are watching replay, like, okay, so here is every single RTSer's first experience of multiplayer, right? They go, you buy the game, you're all giddy, you're excited, you come home, pop it in, play through the single player because you're a Command and Conquer fanatic and like me and just want to see how the story goes, and so you play through that once, and then, you know, you're just looking at that multiplayer button like it's the freaking plague, and eventually you get up the courage to click it, and then eventually you get up the courage to go and find a match, and just like waiting, looking for a match, and you're like wetting yourself, and then you finally get to your first game, you're like, alright, let's go guys, and you just get absolutely just stomped. It's ugly it's painful for everyone involved. I mean, the other guy feels bad for you, you're just like staring as, why does Fraps do this? I'm quite confused on why Fraps just slows down like this, as it's doing right now. 1 second. Back to 30, and we're fixed again. Anyway, so yeah, it's just an awful experience. I mean, you just absolutely get pounded, you lose, you never want to go to play multiplayer again. And you find some site like Game Replays, where we have helpful people in their replays, and the first thing everyone always says when a new Backstory Vice is, dude, watch some replays. Go watch some replays of this guy, or of Dackle, of Technique, because he's amazing. So they're like, alright, sweet, you'll go and you download a bunch of replays and you watch them and you gawk at how good his micro is and all that stuff. You're like, alright, I've watched replays. Time to go and kick some ass. Then you get back into the next game and you get pounded even worse, because you're expecting yourself to be good after having watched the replays. And you're like, well, I watched the replays, why didn't I get better, guys? It's because you are watching them passively. So here's this little introduction to replay watching. I made a post about this a little while ago, but this is really something that a lot of people don't realize, at least I didn't for a while. Or maybe it's just me, and maybe I was just an idiot. But the difference between watching replays actively and passively is so important. Passively is what I would call what I do for fun. I'm not right now. You guys can be watching the game. I'm not really commentating too much on what's happening. But passively watching replays is when it's like this. It's when you have the entire map uncovered. You're just watching where all the battles are. You're gawking at the nice special effects. Yay! Stuff blows up. People die. It's great. It's fun. That's good. That's why we play games. They're supposed to be fun. Do it. Watch replays like that. I like watch show matches. Watch tournaments. They're awesome. But if you're watching replays for the specific purpose of trying to improve your game, and you find yourself watching very passively, you're not going to improve at all. So active replay watching is the opposite of passive, for anyone who has a rudimentary knowledge of the English language, which may have offended some of our foreign viewers, and I apologize. But anyway, so actively watching a replay is, one, you're always, okay, so you have a faction that you want to learn. Even better, you have a specific matchup that you want to learn. So you find that matchup on GR between two good players, and you pick what side that you want to be. So let's say your matchup, you're having really a lot of trouble with GDI Vanilla versus Blackhand. So you find a replay of GDI versus Blackhand where the GDI wins, set your spectator to GDI, okay? Not necessarily put it on his cam, because put the through the eyes camera on, because the person who's doing this already knows all of the things that you don't, and hence you're going to miss a lot of the important things that they do because they can do it so fast. So active replay watching. Watch for initial build order. Memorize. Don't necessarily memorize a build order per se, but see what works. See that, oh, I see when he goes double Predator all in against a black hand spam, he loses. That's bad. Stuff like that. Then be actively thinking about the replay. Make predictions on what one player is going to do, and then see if you're right. And if you're wrong, why were you wrong? Think, oh, is this going to work? Yes, I think it's going to work. And then it just gets horribly beaten. Then think why. Don't think, okay, I won't do that because it got beaten. Think why it got beaten. It may be a certain circumstance. It may be a very specific thing to the map, possibly. I don't know. Just when you're actively replay watching, watch through someone's eyes. Think about the decisions they're making. Look at their econ, when they expand, what they build with their money, what they see, and how they respond to it. That's really important. Scouting. So many players don't scout, which is very important. And so when you don't scout, you have zero idea what's coming. So something that in a replay is really helpful. Whenever you see something for the first time as that player, watch like something out of whack. Like say you scout and you see your opponent's doing a bunch of pitbull spams. Watch exactly what what the player you're watching as does at that moment to respond to that, and see if it works. And if it does, log that away. Don't memorize things. That's important. Is that this game is so dynamic and changing, you have to be able to be adaptable. So don't see Predators and think, oh, time to build a buttload of rocket infantry. Even though usually that works, don't just break it down to that simple. Think. That's all I got to say about that. Think. Also, another important thing that a lot of newbies will forget is macro management, which is something that generally people don't think about when they first start playing. Because in single player, you don't have to macro too much. You just have to micro, which is getting in close with your units, making sure that you do everything perfectly in response to his units. But while you're doing that, back home, you should always be making buildings or something. You should be making something. You should be trying to keep your money low. You shouldn't be cash floating. Thinking, and in this game, of course, you have the economy aspect of it, of when I'm going to need to expand next. If you expand too soon, then you have a buttload of money, you don't have too many forces, and he comes in and just crushes you. If you expand too late, you're broke, you barely get to expand, and he can just out-economy you. So during a fight like this, definitely be concentrating on your units and your predators, making sure the predators are taking the majority of the... Ooh, that's nice. Just stuff like this with your zone troopers, making sure they're not going to get absolutely pounded by the Shatterers or run over. But at the same time, you can't stop making units back at your base. You should have... Now, in this game, queuing up units is acceptable, actually. Technically, because the econ system is a pay-as-you-go, you don't sink all that money into those queues. the second that you click the button. You don't lose any money when you queue up 2, you're just losing constant amount of credits, which is fine. So queuing up in this game isn't as destructive as it would be in, say, StarCraft 2, where the second you press the button, you lose that amount of credits. So if you queue a bunch of stuff up, you essentially have only 1 unit building, but you've spent 7 units worth of money. So queuing up, and again, that also gets dangerous. It's so easy to just press shift and then, you know, queue up 20 predators, and if you forget about it, and you're in some battle, and then you come back and you have like 15 more predators, and he's already gone juggernauts and orcas, then you are stuck with those predators. Oh, wow, I'm sorry, I have to note that. That was beautiful. Play from Xlavi. Obviously he's gone tier 4, and just use a supersonic airstrike. What does he have? He has Firehawks. Well, what's his face? Actually, Argentinoforce. Argent in no force. Argent in no force. Argenti in no force? I don't know. I'll just call him Argent. Well, Argent went with orcas, and we're going for an upper strike here. So this is interesting. We're seeing for what is, in essence, a tier 2 army. Ooh, yes. Oh my god, thank you so much, Xlava. Thank you. Please know what he did. Now I'm going to start talking strategy here. Okay, he got both defensive towers, and he got the EMP center. And without both of those, he would have been screwed a long, long time ago, okay? Like, especially because it's a tier, I mean, once you get Juggernauts out, everything in this area becomes completely obsolete because the towers won't be able to, they're outranged, right? But when you see a heavy tier 1, tier 2 army like this, where he how did he expand? Did he use a surveyor? I guess he used a surveyor. When you see a quick expand to get a lot of predators and heavy tier 2 units, they can't get past those. I mean, those towers absolutely pound tier 1, tier 2 units. I mean, one-shotting, I think. I mean, definitely Shatterers go down one shot. Oh, that's sad. And also good use of zone troopers here. Zalava has, all right, especially, and here's, I mean, this is something that I love, is that, one, never a bad time for Pitbull harass. Pitbulls in the late game are great because just having a pack of them, they're so they scale so well, they're so multi-dimensional. You can use them as a small harassment force, you can use them as an anti-air. Fraps is being stupid again, so I'm going to have to pause. And then let it reload, turn off Fraps, turn it back on, let it get back to 30, or go back down to 8. Try again. There we go. Alright. And now it's going to go back to its normal speed. Now we see APCs coming down. Unfortunately, zone troopers are going to go out really quick to APCs in any form, which is kind of a shame because zone troopers are tier 3 infantry that shouldn't go down to a tier 1 unit in essence. I mean, I get it, but still, it's kind of sad. Xlav is definitely on the back foot here. Has been doing some great econ. I mean, this is almost mined out for Argent, but he's also probably lost at least 2 or 3 harvesters, as well as both those refineries will be going down once those Firehawks redack. Seeing Bloodhound call in from him once again. See, what I'm doing now is commentating. This isn't so much analysis. If I were doing analysis, I would be going back, looking at things, looking at choices, strategic choices, why players started the way they did, and so on and so forth. But this is just a game I'm casting for my friend. So, I'm sorry I kind of rambled on in the beginning there. But yeah, I mean, it's so often you really have to actively watch replays if you want to improve. But watching them passively is great too because it's just fun. It's fun to watch people go flying and guys bounce in laws of physics that are not applicable to Earth in any way, shape, or form. Okay, yeah, tank coming, probably run. You're dead. Firehawks have strata boosters on them, you can tell if you have the graphics up, and you can see that little distortion effect right behind them. However, it's usually a bad idea to set down right in the middle of a predator assault, and so that's... Ooh, did he lose all of his... God, I hope not. Were they on there when that thing blew up? That would be really sad. Okay, well, all 4 Firehawks went down, and these predators are leveling up quite quickly here. Xlap is just really on the back foot, attacked quickly, but some of those initial... Oh, wait, never mind. These are his tanks. Screw that, never mind. Well, he held that one off. And Argent has no more money. No more money at all. Like, seriously nothing. Didn't even think to expand. This is an example of not so good macro management. It's the fact that he was being harassed. He was really concentrating on the battles that he was winning. So that's good. He was pushing forward, but he was being harassed down here. He was spending a lot of money trying to replace his units, and he didn't even think about the